Today the G3 Sportsman is on one of the best panfish lakes in the country, fishing with one of the hottest baits to come out in years. You'll meet the man who designed it, and we'll see how this tiny little jig started a thriving family business. Hey, we've only got 30 minutes to do it, so we'd best get her started right now. That's what we're wanting right there, Big Mama. The G3 Sportsman is presented by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. You know how many times on the water have you been fishing with a bait and you thought, man, I wished it would do this, or I wished it would do that, or some new bait comes out that's just as simple as ever but just hammers fish and you think, man, I could have designed this. Well, I mean, it happens to all of us and we're all thinking that way. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to introduce you to a man that actually just wanted to catch more bluegill and more crappie. So he designed his own little bait, never knowing that it was really going to take off and it was going to be building to something even better. My fishing partner today is Louie Mansfield from Caruthersville, Missouri. And my gosh, I guess I've known Louie for 25 years. Today we are on Reelfoot Lake in northwest Tennessee and quite possibly one of the best panfish lakes anywhere. And throughout the show, we'll introduce you a little bit more to Louie, his business, and how it all got started.
You want to come out from under there, is he?
Oh, Louie. Looky there, what a big male.
That is a pissing brown.
They call him that because let's see if I can get him to do it. How about that? That is a good one right there. That's a dandy. You know you got a good bluegill when you can lip him. But that's what you come after right there in Reelfoot, right there. Right there, look there. He's long as both hands, or wide. That's a good one. It's a big bull brim right there. A bull bluegill. He's gonna go too. Good job. Boy, I mean, he was aggravating.
He didn't want to come out from under that tree.
He sure didn't now. And he was under the tree.
What I like to do early in the spring on Reelfoot Lake, you'll have a big woolly hatch, and every year, it's usually in March. I have seen it as early as last week in February, or I have seen it in the last week of March. You'll have a woolly hatch. Now, woolly looks like a mosquito, but it don't bite. I think the actual name may be lake flies. You know, I'm not sure. But once you have a woolly hatch, about a week after the woolly hatch, the bluegill get excited because there's fresh meat out there. They've been sucking on that moss all winter and they're ready to eat. So you can move in around these trees and fish, and that's where our little grizzly comes in.
That seems like a good one. Whooped him out of there.
Yeah, that's a male.
And he's right around that cypress with him. Old bugs. You know, these jigs that we're using today are called the Grizzly Jig. And you would think that something just as simple as this, just a small, tiny little bait, would have not made such a big impact in the panfishing world, but it really has. That's
our Grizzly Jig right there. That all started back in 1981. We took a trout hook, put a 1/80th ounce lead head on it, and used a duck feather, a mallard flank. As a matter of fact, that speckled gray is where we got our name, Grizzly. That color is called Grizzly. So we just started calling them Grizzlies, Grizzly Jigs. We started dyeing them, came up with different colors, We evolved into neck hackle for solid colors, then mylar for a lot of different flash. And people found out back then that these things would catch bluegill, crappie, or anything in the water. And it's just started here and ended up where we are today.
It says, turn the bump into a thump.
It's been working well on crappie. This is the first time I've really got to get out and try it on bluegill.
Yeah. There we go. Turn the bump into
Ooh, that's a big female
thump.
there.
Now look at there.
That's a big one there.
That's what we're wanting right there. Big mama. That's what we're wanting right there. Now that's big hand size. Hand size, trust me, it was a big hand size brim. Them's the ones we want right there, Louie. Old biggins.
Did you prematurely drop him back in the water?
Quick release, yeah.
Another female.
So does that tell you that they ain't bedding?
No, that's telling me that's what we're supposed to be catching by the trees.
Is the females?
Mm-hmm.
When you start getting the males, is that when you think you're right in that? Is it just gonna be females around the trees?
When the males are on the bed, that's all you're gonna get around the trees. Unless, sometimes they'll bed around the trees, but it'll be out 2 or 3 foot away from the tree. But we're not getting any action whatsoever.
That's a decent sized hand sized brim, isn't it?
Well, I've been fishing this lake since the early 70s. We came over and it was, oh, there's no doubt in my mind it was the best bluegill fishing that I'd ever witnessed. Well, we got to using the jigs over here and found out they worked real well, and the word of mouth got out, and some of the guides around the lake wanted some, so I'd bring a few jigs over every week and sell everything we made, you know, that week. And it just kind of went from the garage into a business. Well, I've caught more fish over here without tipping with anything, but it seems like the last 5 or 10 years, if you ain't tipping, well, you ain't doing something right. Tell you what, the Berkeley power baits are awful hard to beat.
We got some in here, don't we?
We're gonna dig them out here in a minute too.
They just do that. The little crappie nibbles. Tip your bait with them right there. That's just, sometimes when the old fish get a little finicky, you get them little crappie nibbles right there as an attractant.
They make some gulp baits that are also good. Make several different baits.
I guess the brim like them. Just tip your hook with it. Just tip your hook, that's all you do. Just put it on there like that. Give that little added attractant on there. Got a little smell to it. I can't really describe what it smells like, but.
Snubby.
Man, oh man.
Swing him on over in the boat.
This is kind of a rarity right here.
No.
Today.
Today it's rare, yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you what now.
He hit that little grizzly jig too, didn't he?
How about that, boys?
That's a sweetie.
That's a fine reelfoot crappie right there. How about that? That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good 1.25 pounds or better.
I mean, that's a 14-inch crappie anywhere
That's good fish.
Anywhere you shake it right there.
That's what we catch around these trees during the spawn.
That's a good one. Boy, this is a mortal sin right here.
It is, isn't it?
Look at that. Threw him back. We had a little delay in the action while we were fishing. A big thunderstorm came up and come rolling across the lake, and we had to hurry up and get back to the lodge, and Tell you what, you do not want to be on any lake when a thunderstorm comes up, but especially Reelfoot.
It'll be a little while before the heavy stuff starts coming down. What's funny is watching them ducks try to cut that wind.
And speaking of lodges, you know, we stayed over at the Blue Bank Resort, and I'm telling you, if you guys ever go to Reelfoot, there's no other place to look. I'm telling you, I'll save you plenty of time right now. Blue Bank is the best place on the water there at Reelfoot. Man, they have got some great cabins. They've got little apartments up there, swimming pool, a gift shop that's second to none. You get plenty to eat, got a great restaurant. He'll rent you boats, he'll take you out fishing, they got guides. That Billy Blakely over there works his hind end off to make sure that everybody is treated great. If you ever over at Reelfoot, just make sure that you give old Billy a call and you stay at the Blue Bank Resort. Well, anyway, we're shifting gears right now, and now we're going to try to go after some bedding brim. Louie's got a few beds located, and we're going to kind of change gears a little bit, change tactics, and see what we can do on catching some brim on the beds.
Yeah, a little better.
Yep.
Oh yeah, how about that? Now we're getting into some bedding fish. How about that? That's what I'm talking about, Louie.
That's a dandy there.
Mr. Bluegill.
Mr. Bluegill. What I look for is an area, big opening in the pads, between the pads and the bank, out about 10 foot from the shoreline that's partially shaded during the day. Water needs to be in the vicinity of 2 to 3 foot deep. And on Reelfoot, I can spot a bluegill bed by looking for bubbles. When that bluegill's working the bed, he'll actually blast the bottom with his nose, pull the water through his gills, and give a blast, and the gas and whatnot down in the muck will be released, and it'll almost come up like a spew.
There he is.
That's a big one.
He's gonna whip you. Old saucer size there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what you like right there. Old saucer size. I'll hold the boat, you keep catching. And you can, if Eric can swing around, you can just see what kind of contour we got right here. And we're right outside the tree line, just next to the bank. And in all these little pockets and indentations and stuff. That's what these little bluegill go in there and start making those beds.
And the advantage, nail him. And the advantage of that long pole is a lot of times you can lift him up straight out of the pads.
Right.
Is that a pretty good one? Oh yeah, yeah. That's a pretty good one.
He's not bad. See, I caught that female a while ago, and then there's the male. Well, you can just tell how much prettier. Just the opposite in the human race, isn't it, Louie?
Oh yes, yes.
And thank goodness too. Reelfoot bedding bluegill.
We got our first mail order back in, I believe it was 1984 or 85, and we filled that order and got to selling around the lake, around Reelfoot Lake here. We got to selling to the resorts. One of the guys at one of the resorts says, do you have anything besides jigs? And I said, no. He said, well, I need somebody to supply me in minnow buckets. I said, well, I know where I can get the minnow buckets. I'll just bring you some next week. Well, that went on, and it kept going from minnow buckets to hooks, and from one thing to another. We ended up buying a wholesale house out in up in Cape Girardeau, bought it out, and kind of expanded. Well, we put a sign out front, people came. We stayed over there about 6 months and bought a store downtown in Carruthersville, moved back over to Carruthersville. We stayed there 2 years, remodeled the store, and about that time, a big section came over down a block down the street, a big building, nice building, much nicer and larger. Well, we bought it. 5 years ago, we expanded and built a 7,200 square foot warehouse and service department on the back of that. So we went from, you might say, the garage up to where we are today, and we consider ourselves the largest crappie store in the nation.
Attaboy. Let me whip you. Boy, that's a good one there, Louie. That's a good.
It's a pretty one. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. That's a good. That's a pretty one.
Those are the ones that's fun to catch. They're all fun to catch.
They are. That's a pretty bluegill. I'll tell you what, for a change of pace or
Oh, it's so much fun.
to do something different.
Yeah. That's a little bull.
That's a little bull. Bully, bully, bully. Little power bait grizzly jig combo. Look at him peeing. Look at him. Little peeing rascal. Hey, he's typical male, ain't he, Louie?
Oh yeah.
He typical male. Ain't that pretty? Cute little old thing. Look at the colors on him. Just pretty as he can be. Back in there. Get me a little power bait back on here. Been keeping my power bait closer to me. I keep losing it, so now I'll just put it in my pocket. Tell you what, the little white power bait is working, Lou.
Working good.
Crappie niblet. Right there. Tipping it right on the end. Right there. That's all I'm doing. Just a simple, simple as I can do it. Boy, I just about messed up and hooked myself.
Well, I think everybody knows that Reelfoot Lake was formed by an earthquake back in the early 1800s. Right now, I think we have, probably about 13,000 acres of navigable lake. There's thousands of acres of swamp, thousands of acres of lily pads. There's woods in the water to fish. The water range anywhere from swamp up to about 20 foot deep. And per acre, there's as many fish on this lake or more than any lake in the United States.
That's a little female.
Mm-hmm. Yep. When you catch her, you just keep on traveling.
You just keep on traveling because she ain't on the bed.
Just keep on fishing. She ain't on a bed.
Is that right? You can tell of course, you can tell the difference in the female with not the colors.
Oh, yellow belly. Not as dark.
Yeah.
Belly's yellow instead of a golden orange.
I caught her on the. She was hungry because I caught her on the little power bait tip.
You know, I'm sitting here just going through this Grizzly Jig catalog, just looking at all the stuff that they have in here now. And it's no wonder that they are the #1 crappie store in the nation, because it's unbelievable at all the stuff that's in this catalog. It's mind-blowing. And everything started from its namesake, the one little grizzly jig. And only in America can we follow our dreams and make them all come true. I want to thank Louie Mansfield for inviting me down to Reelfoot Lake. Guys, I'm telling you, Reelfoot is a lost treasure down there. They've got monster bluegill, crappie, bass, catfish. I mean, it is just a wonderful place to go take the family. It's a beautiful lake. You can catch a lot of fish over there. The Blue Bank Motel, and Lodge, I really appreciate them putting us up down there, and it is the best place on the water, period. I'll save you a lot of time and steps on that. It is by far the best. But that's all we got for this week's show. Thanks for watching, and we'll be out there somewhere doing something next week right here on the G3 Sportsman. You probably carry more crappie rods than anybody in the country.
We claim to be the largest crappie store in the nation. And you know where we're from.
Oh, I hear you, from Missouri.
Somebody's going to have to show me.
If somebody's got
I've been
more,
saying that for years and nobody has.
if somebody's got more crappie rods than Louie Mansfield and Grizzly Jig, I don't know where they're going to put them. They'd have to have a whole new store just for the rod. You've just about got the whole block.
Just about.
Man, this is where you don't want old Mr. No Shoulders fall on you right here. This is a little one.
That's little. This is a tiny one.
We're right in the eye of the storm right now here at Reelfoot Lake.
I think we got us a college bed. You know?
You reckon?
Yeah, they're
Go
not.
ahead.